tune with Mother Nature. Download these life codes that I've been given. Put into action, they could save us. Always giving all that we got. From my heart, I love myself. You're my reflection, I thought I'd tell ya. Separation's an illusion. I am you and you are me. Let's stop fighting one another. If we embrace what makes all us different, love is understanding each other. Ocean breeze and palm trees, you know I got it. I live my life the right way, I'm in the tropics. In tune with the divine knowledge, they can't stop me. Tapped into the supreme being, I'm God-bodied. Humble hand and iron fist, they acknowledge. Modern day lifestyle, yeah, the Christ conscious. Carbonation, the frequency that they keep watching. Connecting back to a natural state is my only option. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. I walk a path, picked up my arm, the narrow road. No more pointing the finger, I am responsible. Change my perspective on everything, watch my world unfold. I made mistakes on this journey, I ain't proud about it. But I'm still standing strong, cause I'm about it. They say pressure make a diamond, so I'm in the cut. The lower self will me to fall, but I ain't giving up. I know you like this lifestyle we're living, getting in tune with Mother Nature. Download these life codes that I've been given. Put into action, they could save us. Always giving all that we got. From my heart, I love myself. You're my reflection, I thought I'd tell ya. Separation's an illusion. I am you and you are me. Let's stop fighting one another. If we embrace what makes all us different, love is understanding each other. Shining bright, we'll walk up to the sun, hand in hand. Shining bright, shining bright, shining bright, to the sun, hand in hand. Oh, shining bright, shining bright, shining bright. We'll walk up to the sun, hand in hand. Oh, shining bright, shining bright.
You have me on your community not community but concerned citizens panel, because I am a concerned citizen and right now I'm concerned.
I always know that an empty vessel is a demon's playground.
A lot of this, the so-called rape culture, comes from porn.
To be fair, when I made that comment, I said never would I let her, especially with some NABs, with a comma and a S, meaning plural, as in not just one. I mean both of y'all. I said she wouldn't go on vacation with both of y'all.
I implore everyone to be a concerned citizen and keep your eyes open. If you see something, say something, and hold these perverts accountable. We are here.
Good evening.
Oh, we got
Let me put my little notebook down for a second. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Friday's podcast. We are your host. I am the Lurker, and this is Godmomma.
Hello.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Godmomma. We ain't been live all week, honey.
So,
we haven't been live all week. Okay. Whoopsies. That's okay. We're here tonight. We got a good show for y'all tonight. Got a great show. Let's see who's in the building. Ooh, we got Miss Crayons, Nikki Crayons.
Hey,
How you
Karen.
doing? Hey, hubby. Hubby the choir. Sean in the cut. How you doing? Ooh, wee. And Kai Kai is here. Always here to support. Sean, is that Debo as your new profile picture? Is that Debo? Is that what we're doing? Who you bulldogging? Who you bulldogging? Hey, Vicky. Hey, mama. Come on in, mama.
Oh God.
Oh, who we bulldogging?
Listen,
What?
listen. I'm gonna need y'all. Listen, we got a new little thing. Okay, if y'all take shots, if y'all smoke, if you even are just on a drinking water phase, every time you hear my co-host say, "Mama," go ahead and take you a little sip, hit it a little couple of times, and move on. And maybe I'll try to keep track, but maybe.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, it's become a problem. Okay, don't count these times because I'm doing it on purpose right now. But even with my cat, every rising, I say grand rising, mama. I mean, it's just a habit. I am so sorry for picking up grown folks TV's lingo, but I guess y'all, hey mama.
Hey,
Hey
mama.
mama. How you doing, mama? Oh boy. Okay, Kylie, you're fine. You just go ahead and do what you do, mama. We're gonna get into some stuff today.
Yes.
Um,
Be
we're on
careful
season
driving.
3. Yes,
Yeah.
be careful driving. We are on season 3 of the Concerned Citizens podcast. We are doing amazing, I think.
Hmm.
We've had to make some improvements here and there, but I think we've made them. And I
Hmm.
think we're going to continue to make some improvements as we get more comfortable and we get,
Hmm.
a little oiled up over here.
Hmm.
Um, Season 3, though, we said we was, gonna switch gears, go back to our roots a little bit, and as y'all can see the title, it is cults and intentional communities. What's the difference? One thing that we're also gonna throw in there, y'all, so you don't get caught off guard. We're gonna talk about some gangs as
Hmm.
well. I don't want to talk about, the gang violence. I want to talk about the gang culture.
Hmm.
Okay. Because that's what this live is about. It's about the culture of people. Okay. And
Right.
what they do when they get in these groups, how
Hmm.
severe it can be, um, and just how unplugged some of these cults go. Okay. So we're going to dive into just an array of some of the stuff that's going on today that
Hmm.
we don't even really know about.
Right. Because
Come
I
on, God.
realized that a lot of these intentional communities have been around for like 50 plus years. Had no idea. Now, does it necessarily mean that it's something negative or toxic? Not always. But it was very shocking to me when I pulled up the map of the United States to see how many intentional communities are here. And I was like, wow, wow. Hmm.
There's a lot because they're classified as different things.
Hmm.
There's some that we know are on a larger scale, like religion, gangs. But then
Hmm.
there's these little pop-offs, these
Hmm.
little you just quiet. You would never even know about them. You haven't heard about them. Um, right in your backyard type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, let's get into it, Godmama. Where are we going with these cults? Where do you want to start with them? And first of all, before we get into cults, I've got a couple things in my notebook so I can kind of gather everybody in. But what is this intentional community? What is this, Godmama? Because today was the first time I've ever heard that. I knew what you were talking about, but I didn't know that was the name for them.
Hmm.
So, what's an
Well,
intentional community? What is that?
they are defined as a group of people who have chosen to live together or share resources on the basis of common core values. What made me fall into intentional communities was looking up the garden cult that was like blew up on TikTok. They ended up making a whole Netflix documentary about it. And people are still kind of up in the air. Is this a cult or is this a commune?
Mm,
And I was able to find a couple that went, stayed the night. They were able to record their whole trip.
Mm-hmm.
And just on outward looking, it looks like it's just a commune.
Mm-hmm.
But then you kind of dig a little deeper and you hear people that come back from it, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, it's some sketchy things going on. And
Mm-hmm.
so that led me down into a intentional community that is called Twin Oaks, that is been around for 53 going on 54 years now. And
Mm-hmm.
um it its basis is solely just for the LGBTQ community. It was started by two gay white men, and they kind of just went out, bought a bunch of land, wanted to because I guess at that time, 53 years ago, to be openly gay was
Right.
not a right. So they kind
Right.
of wanted to create their own environment. And it's been
Okay.
withstanding for 53 years.
Hmm.
There's a international, and I keep wanting to call it international, but an intentional community 61 miles north of Chicago, and it's an all Black indigenous community. And they don't have if you go and search Black Oaks, you don't find a whole lot about these people. You
Mm-hmm.
just you just see what they give back to the community. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the things that I found, when it's more older and like kind of generational, passed down,
Yeah.
it's not so culty, it's more community. But when
Hmm.
but
Okay.
the garden is specifically just for travelers.
Okay.
You
Okay.
come and you
Because
go.
I know that's a big thing. That's something we talked about was the art, the van life.
Mhm.
This new wave of just nomads, basically. You
Mhm.
know, they've kind of made it trendy to have a YouTube channel to go here, and they've got their little RV communities. And so I understand what you're saying as far as the commune thought
Mhm.
process. Um, and you said if they're passed down generationally, they don't really give off culty vibes. From the half of the exploring I did with the religious side, it was like the more it was generational, the more it was culty.
Mhm.
So that's interesting to hear. Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I found, like, if religion was involved or any type of structured worship, not even specifically just Christianity, but any type of structured worship in that community,
Mhm.
it did tend to start getting culty because someone has to be a leader. Where
Mm.
in an intentional community, there's not supposed to be any leaders.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone is supposed to be equal in their own voice, and and what they contribute. So those are kind of the
Mm.
differences when it comes to cults and intentional communities. Intentional communities don't have a sole leader.
Okay. It's like a group of hippies, group of
Hmm.
gypsies, a group of
Hmm.
nomads, a group of, and that's one of the things we'll get into is one of them is like lawless. There's no law at all.
Right.
Women get raped out there. There's a lot of thieving. Hey, Shree Bear. Hey, Mama.
Hey, sure.
Damn it. Y'all go ahead and take a toke or smoke or drink or whatever. Jolly. Hello, Shree Bear. My bad. For
We-
those of y'all entering, I'm not supposed to be saying mama. I can't help it. We're going to break this habit tonight, period. The first step is awareness. Okay. You got to be aware. You got to admit. Y'all go ahead and take a little shot for me. Okay. But what we're going to get into is we're going to start with some of those nomad people, right? Is that where you
mhm.
want to start?
We can if you want. Just
Okay. Okay, we can start over there. Let's move and groove. I saw, was it Vicky? Yeah, Vicky said the 7M documentary was really good. Vicky, we're going to talk about that as well. I had some thoughts. I've got some notes on the 7M, and I've got some thoughts. It was giving me PTSD flashbacks of Bishop
mm,
for certain reasons, because when you start including online presence with your foolery, or I don't know. But we'll dive into that. Let's hop on over to these little hippies. And I think this one is the garden one. Let me show you, Godmomma, what I got pulled up so far.
The Vice one. Now the garden, they are in Macon, Tennessee. And the problem with them being in Macon, Tennessee is that it's close to it's surrounded by sundown towns. So that's a big like red flag, and why a lot of people on TikTok were kind of like, hey, what's going on? Like, don't, you're surrounding these people by, because sundown towns are still a real thing.
Yeah, they are. And that's where these little nomad meetups are. They're like in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're out, you know what I mean? Way out of city limits. They are, I mean, these people. Okay, well, let's get into some of this, y'all. This came up 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really new, and then we're just gonna bounce around about some of these cults.
And let me explain this lady first, because this queued up right here is where she's talking about a cat hat. She went viral on TikTok because there was a cat that was on their commune, and it was attacking the roosters or the chickens, and so someone killed the cat, skinned the cat, and she made a hat out of the cat. And the people, the residents ended up eating the cat. So it caused this, and they're free, they're openly, honest on social media, kind of like how Bishop was. And so, TikTok took it and grew legs. It gave me flashbacks of the Nature Boy sector. Like there's a whole garden sector out here, y'all. There's a whole garden, like they've had the cops called on them. It is
yes, they've had to go through some things, but they put out some of the strangest things. And again, if you're not really hip to some of the stuff that's going on online, you need to be.
Yeah, because your children are watching this.
Yes.
Some people who just straight up look at me and want to hate me for some reason. And I figured out that I can like report somebody for harassment too, because there's a guy who literally like his whole page is like a harassment page of the garden. And these are like extensive videos where he's like gone on like people's Facebook pages and like searched for like anything he can find. Oh my God. Do you remember his name? It's like we gotta do like 2 a week and have 2 different human something. Yeah.
I'm also known as Dirty Human Twunk on TikTok. Welcome back to Cult Commune TikTok. Let's talk about Rel, okay? The one everyone's been talking about is this one where she's wearing a hat that she made out of her literal cat. The story goes the cat killed some chickens, so she killed it and ate it and then made it into a hat. In the US, this is considered animal abuse and you can go to jail for something like this.
Was it hard to make a hat out of the cat? No. It was actually like the hide of the cat, it like was the perfect size to fit right around my head. It came out really, really nice. I'm really into animal hides and honoring the lives of animals.
So people are hating on me for something to do with a cat, and I just wanted to let everyone know that in Tennessee, on farms where there's livestock, if there's a vermin that comes and kills your livestock, it gets shot.
I didn't know about the cat thing until a month ago or something. I guess what happened was 3 years ago, there was a wild cat that was attacking the chickens. And it's pretty normal in Tennessee or on a farm that if, a raccoon or a fox is something attacking your livestock, you have to kill it. So that's what happened. And then because they don't believe in waste.
I mean, listen, I know this is hard, especially for us melanated folk, but y'all gotta understand there are some backwood living okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what she's saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen how they live, it's really hard to be like cool with hearing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it shocking? Yes. Do you want to see her wearing the cat on her head? No. but that's full use of the dead. And that's just kind of what backwoods people do. Coon hats is a regular thing. Squirrel pouches are rabbit feet, chicken feet. I mean, those are just regular things when you're in the backwoods. Okay, well, let's keep playing because I can't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about it. I don't even like to eat meat to begin with, but we're talking about, to me, that's my first thought. I thought of a backwood person. That's what I thought.
And then at 11:06, she talks about the dog skirt. And the only reason why I am mentioning this to you all, because I know it kind of sounds like, oh, what? Yeah, it's weird, but what does it matter? This is the type of, these are called intentional community.
Transgender.
And a lot of the times they're getting a cult label. And so we have to kind of be careful of labeling people as a cult when they're just different, right? That is not, I know the lady said, that's against the law. You can go to jail for that. In some states, in some situations, no, you cannot. That is perfectly legal, perfectly normal.
Especially if it's killing your livestock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just how they are out there, shooting coyotes. That's just how they live.
Yeah.
I mean, little foxes, like he said, raccoons, and that's just what they do. So, yes, language does matter, and that's what we're here for. We're going to see what's the difference. Let's get into it, Godmomma. And I see you, she said, I'm a city girl. Listen, the first time I seen some stuff like that, I was like, what the heck? I was like, oh my gosh, I was beside myself.
Also skinned a dog and is like wearing it.
This is my dog's tail. See? He's still wagging his tail, guys. He's still a happy boy. One of the animals that I honored the life of was my dog when he got hit and killed by a truck. And I just thought it was the most sentimental and loving thing you could do. And I made the skirt. It's actually right here. And he's still just as soft as he was. When people reacted to the video, it was somewhat expected because I know that it's not a normal thing that people do this day and age. It's somewhat expected that I'm going to get some kind of negative reaction from people because of the shock value. Did you hear anything about the scarecrow? There's like this whole thing about a scarecrow.
It's also this.
Now this
they just dressed it up like a black woman, and it just looks like a mammy figure or something.
And the way that motherfucker said "mammy" rubbed me wrong. But anyways, now this part was the part that kind of made me like,
some more backwoods shit.
Yeah.
And like you said, these are crunched in between sundown towns sometimes, not all.
Yeah.
Again, I can't say it. This is just backwoods behavior to me. I don't know how else to describe it. And if you haven't seen it, you don't know. And it's very like, but to me, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Sheree says she just sees one sick person. She doesn't see a cult. Well, this woman lives with a group of people. She's not out here solo dolo. Okay. This garden lady lives with a group of people. A lot of harassment did come from TikTok. She addressed that at the very beginning of her little video, but I mean, these people were on her top, and for shit like this thing right now, okay, get on her top. But again, I'm not excusing. It's just backwoods people. I don't know how to describe it. Forgive me for not having better terminology on these people, but my mother would call them podunk. I don't know if that was better. These are podunk people, okay? Podunk. I don't want to call them country folk, but they're backwoods people.
Podunk.
Podunk is what my mother would call them. Nikki says we've become over civilized, maybe. Have we? Have we though? Oh, let me yell at my dog. 1 second.
Over civilized?
I don't know about that.
In certain aspects, I could say yeah. In certain aspects, I could say yeah. If we want to turn in intentional communities into cults off the rip, then yes, we have become over civilized. Um, but skinning
No.
cats and putting them on your head, man, like that, I don't know.
Well, that one was a nuisance. The one, her dog was a pet that she loved, and she wanted to honor it with wearing the
Now,
skin.
see, like I could kind of see that in a white, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a culture, it's a
Me too.
culture of keeping
Mhm.
your animal close to you. Would I personally do it? Fuck no, that's weird to me. But again, I don't see this as like because she is supposed to be one of their leaders,
Mhm.
and she to me is just not giving.
Mhm.
I don't know. Let's continue.
Okay.
Something, especially the fact that they're like located in the South, like everybody just saw that and was like, this is really like shocking to see. Like, even if they didn't think it was that way, like the way it looks is really bad.
It was a scarecrow I made last year for Halloween, and it literally has a stuffed animal California raisin as the face. And they're calling me a racist because I put the California raisin in a scarecrow.
Look at her
So
face,
sometimes
though.
people, when I mention that I don't see races, I don't see genders, I don't
Jesus,
look at
lady.
people like that.
Listen to her.
Some people tell me that that is a white privileged thing for me to say. And I think telling somebody that they're white privilege is a racist thing to say, because you're calling me a color that I don't define myself with.
Oh Lord.
So
You
there's
can
that.
cut it. You can cut it
Oh
because that's all
Lord.
that's all I needed from her. And then we'll go to 1658. And this is
Okay.
just an interview that uh, that Vice is interviewing them, asking all three people if they're the cult leaders or if they're in a cult. But I have an issue when people say I don't see color, I don't see race, I don't see gender. I have an issue with that, but
Mhm.
that's not for today's podcast. That's for a different one.
Mhm.
So we'll just keep it pushing because the whole I don't see gender, I don't see race bullshit is farce to
And
me.
then they cue over to the black family with the black baby.
Okay,
Like, can
yeah,
we? Anyhow, but this is Vice, y'all. Shout out to Vice. Y'all know how they do it.
messy ass.
She said it's a California raisin, bitch. Girl, goodbye.
So obviously, some people think that you are the cult leader of this place.
I have a really loud personality, so I could see how people could mistake me for a leader of a group.
I have to ask, are you like a cult leader?
No,
This is
I'm not a
Tree is
cult leader.
Alive.
I have tried to stray away.
This is what?
His name is Tree is Alive. That's what his handle is. That's what he goes by. People call him Tree. He is a huge person in social media when it comes to this nomad, intentional community, van life, RV life, school bus life. He's very, very known in that community. Um, and he travels all around the United States, all around the world to different intentional communities and helps out and stays for a while and then moves on to the next one.
Oh, okay.
But he but
He's a
he has
traveler.
but he has stayed at the garden for majority of most of the time. He's built it up. He's been the one that's been there building it up. Because again, it's the garden has been around for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's
just because
relatively new.
yeah, but just because we heard about it last year doesn't mean that it's new. Like this is so
Mhm.
it's like a reoccurring theme that I've noticed with intentional communities
Mhm.
around the years of 2006 to about 2012.
Mhm.
That's when all of these intentional communities just started popping up everywhere.
Remember Holistic Village?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess that was a intentional community.
Girl, I don't know.
We should have added that one to the list.
Yeah.
Carrie, we ain't forgot about you, Carrie.
Away from leader-based format systems my whole life. I've been fighting severely against the idea of people withholding leadership, and it's completely against everything I believe in.
So, of course, it's an ongoing joke, you know. There's even signs around here, is it culty? You know? But I would say, you know, all jokes aside, no, because we don't have a religious ideology. We don't try to control people. People are free to come and go. We're free-thinking individuals. You know, for some people, any intentional community is going to look like a cult.
You can stop it. So that's their three main people who are constantly on social media, constantly on TikTok, recruiting new people to come. Their motto is free land for free people. So that's how they're just telling people, like, come figure out and learn how to live off grid. Let us teach you how to live off grid. They have compost piles. The next video of the dropouts, the couple that went to the compound, they show, like, the girl walks them around the entire compound and what it looks like. Could I live in there? Hell no, friend. Like, they got compost toilets, and they have a bucket. You pee outside, but you number two in an outhouse kennel bucket. And then every year they take it and mix molasses and some other things in it and turn it into compost soil. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that, friend.
You know, I'm all for compost your heart away. I've got compost. Of course, mine is just food scraps and whatnot. When you're living kind of, I guess, off the grid, I'm okay with that, but not in a community setting. I don't want all of that. Mine only. I'll go compost mine and maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe my family. Yes. And that's a big maybe.
That's a big maybe, girl.
And I know that that's like how we've done it since the beginning of Dawn, but I'm so picky about my bathroom usage. So that would be hard for me to very hard, and not to be able to be clean every day. That would be hard for me. I could do 2-3 days max of hard labor limit, but then I would need an everything shower. And then one a day after that. This couldn't be an ongoing lifestyle. Do I love that? Yes, but I'm more of a carbonation vibe. Like, my tent needs to be stocked with a fan, a TV, a fucking rug, a mini fridge. I need to be living like glamping type.
Period.
If I'm going to be doing it for long periods of time, I need glamping. I need to be camping outside you know what I'm saying, where they're outside the Airbnb. I'm going to be doing it for long periods of time. It's just me, though. That's just me, friend. I don't know. So, okay, bless these people for trying to do better as far as capitalism and consumership goes, right?
Yeah, because that's their biggest. Yeah, that's their biggest thing is fuck the system. That's their biggest. When all across the board is fuck the system. You know, we don't need the system. As long as we can come together as a community, we will be able to sustain ourselves. And that's what they're trying to show people. What is getting a lot of people hung up on intentional communities is the lack of high access to being clean.
Yes. And just too many roamers for me. I don't like the in and out, the open door policy for me. That's just for me. But
there are some that are very, because there's a whole website. I will drop it in the chat for y'all. There's a whole website where you can go to the directory and find intentional communities all across the world. And you can go and click on each one, and some of them are open to all visitors. You can just open policy, and then there are some that are, you've got to fill this form out, fill that form out, do this, do that. They're saying that the ones that are very like, you got to fill this form out, are cults. But when I was discussing this with my husband while we were at the park, he was like, wouldn't HOAs be a form of intentional communities? People living in suburbs or communities, and they have to pay HOA fees to be in that community, and that community can say whether you can have chickens in your yard or you can,
Yeah. I mean, when I think of an intentional community, I guess that would be the gentrified version. HOA would be I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I guess. Well, are they making sure you're composting your shit right? I mean, yeah. So, okay, let's look at this couple, and I don't know about this one, Godmomma. So you'll just have to. I guess we'll just see what these people. We got as an interracial couple, y'all. Let's see.
Yeah, and I did not catch their names or anything. They go by the name The Dropouts on YouTube. Once we get done, I'll make sure everybody's links are in the description box for y'all. But they kind of live a nomad life too. They travel and do the things. So, and they got hip to the garden, and it was called a TikTok cult. So they wanted to go see what it was about.
Okay. And this TikTok cult isn't the 7M one. We'll get to that in a second. But let's see what this garden experience is like for this young couple here.
People are gonna be cool. Fingers crossed.
They didn't have cell service. They were nervous.
The garden.
Oh, look at it.
Someone just beep at us?
Yeah.
Welcome home. Violence-free, drug-free. What does it say? It looks like there are houses over there.
Where should I park? In front of this RV?
I'm not sure, baby.
I have to pee so fucking bad.
There's a chicken in the tree.
Is he peeing in a cup?
Yeah. Why does this look like Blair Witch?
That's what I'm saying, Fran.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I pulled up to this, I might be I might be like, we gotta go. We go back home. Fuck this.
In the backwoods somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is definitely giving like
All right, so we just got here.
The beginning of a horror movie.
See anyone yet?
Yes.
So we're looking around.
The only thing I see. Oh, there's people up there.
There's people.
They're up there.
How's it
Hey,
going?
how's it going?
It's a party.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Samaj.
Samad.
Samaj, yes.
Cheyenne, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, what's your name? Brianna, Cheyenne, nice to meet you guys. Welcome to the garden. Welcome home. Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome home.
So, they just blew the dinner horn, so you guys just made it just in time.
Oh,
We
nice.
have fresh food ready down in the outside kitchen. Would you guys like a tour first? You want to go straight there and meet everyone? Probably
do a little tour.
little tour on the way.
We brought gifts. We brought a painting.
Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd present it down there if you want to.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. So
We'll just
this
follow
right
you.
here.
And what's your name again?
You said what?
I said a painting, girl.
Yeah, and like Okay, let's just watch, because how is this not giving horror movies?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's the filming or the people and just how one person came out. I don't know.
Again, I'm sorry.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Yes.
Cheyenne.
Yes.
Cheyenne. Okay.
Shy for short.
Okay.
However, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So this is our solar office that we have. We work off of a signal booster, so that's where, if you need to have Wi-Fi service,
Shy to him, Cheyenne to her. Okay.
that kind of stuff, that's where you would do it.
Cool.
Then you've got.
So they only had
generator
one
for
spot
the
that had
well, where the
Wi-Fi
water
and cell
tends to go, and
service.
then it goes to the outside kitchen where we clean dishes and get water from the well as well.
Okay, cool.
A few of these are living spaces buses, storage spaces as well. This is the free bus. Tons of stuff that people just kind of leave, and you can come in and take what you like and wear what you like.
Wow.
All of that jazz.
They have
I'm
guitars.
gonna actually grab a little hoodie while I'm in here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's super dope. What the?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
It's
wow.
super cool.
Right. It's a bus with junk on it. What's going on? What am I missing?
Give and take, like I said.
It's
I mean,
just
there's
sus
kids
to
stuff
me
in
that
there,
it's at
there's
the
jackets
front.
if you ever need like coat.
Don't get it twisted. I love me a good thrift shop, but okay, they're excited. This is what they do. Let me not be a hater.
Cool.
Can you put this on 1.5, please?
Yes.
That is really cool.
You don't mind if I record you, do you?
Oh, not at all. There are a few people that do.
The camera's been in her face the whole time.
They'll let you know. Yeah. But I don't mind.
Where do you get your wood?
A few different places like the sawmill. We'll get this in there. A lot of like the neighbors will give us wood as well.
Nikki.
One of our
And what does it smell like, Nikki?
So peeing is just outside anywhere that's of your comfortability, and then pooping obviously is there, where we have compost and sawdust that we put over the compost, and then within a couple of years it gets made into perfectly good soil. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a little loft up there that we all kind of hang out and on like bonfire nights or just like cold nights. We'll go up there and hang.
Oh, cool.
Yes, this is Turtle.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm Samaj.
I'm Brianna.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Got a video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How long have you been here?
I've been here a little. Oh, so Mitch approaching, he doesn't like to be on video either, just to let you know.
Okay.
So that's another little cabin, and then that is the shower house as well.
Can we see it? Can we check it
Yeah,
out?
absolutely. There's a little pump that runs down here with that water when we start a fire out there, and then you turn it on and you just shower as necessary. So
Nice.
yeah.
What's that? Be the change you wish to
We
see.
just
I have that tattooed on me.
Yeah.
We just basically shit on the trees, carbonation style.
It's actually like so many places around here you'll find just like random cute little messages like that, especially in the outside kitchen where you just open that up about a week ago today. So yeah, full table. We're working on the chimney right now. They're working on kind of building stuff up there and downstairs as well. But yeah, this is one of the newer projects that's going on around here.
Wow.
So it's super fun.
And everyone just builds
I
this
want
to
to know where
themselves.
they be getting
Yeah, we
all
all
this money.
so we have council 2 different times a week on Sundays and Wednesdays, and that's where we all come to consensus. So we do like a 10-second silence, and if anybody disagrees or anything like that, then you speak up within that 10 seconds, and that's how decisions get made around here. So then we just talk about projects and lots of different stuff during council. So when that happens, this is just one of the new projects where they say, hey, if we need a little help here, we need a little help here today, that's when we talk about it. So
cool.
Yeah. But it's, just walking around, it's really fun. You don't have to necessarily be designated to any project. You can pop in and help here and pop in and help here in the garden and pop in and help here. So it's just kind of, It's nice. Yeah. So another compost toilet right there. And then 2 more of the cabins.
Child, that's like the second, third compost
Excellent
toilet.
places for that.
At least they have multiple
I would
toilets.
probably maybe turn the camera off
Yeah.
here and then maybe.
So what are your thoughts so far?
I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope how everyone does everything.
You can cut it
together.
right
She literally
here.
said that they all just got the telephone pole and put it up to get cell service out here, which is kind of dope. They're building that whole new room, which they're doing themselves, which is cool.
You can cut it.
Okay. Because we're going to skip forward a little
Mhm.
about them. What are the protocols for joining? So, call her Shy or Cheyenne.
Cool that it's people coming and going and things like that. Can you explain the 10-day?
Yeah, so a lot of intentional communities that I've been to have been more 10 people living off grid, and they're more close. You have to send an email and request if you want to come and things like that. The open door policy here is set in place so that people that have never experienced this lifestyle before can have like the ease of just coming in for a few days and experiencing it, because the mission of this place is to show people, as many people as possible, about off-grid living. But with that, of course, you know, we need to also have some kind of system set in place to, you know, kind of weed out people that aren't really interested in the mission, maybe just want a place to stay, or, you know, somebody who's maybe violent or somebody that people don't necessarily, you know, vibe with. So that's the 10-day rule is anybody is welcome to stay for 10 days. If somebody comes that's, you know, doesn't make people feel safe, then we also have a system set in place where anybody that's been here for 2 weeks can ask that person to leave at any time, as long as they let everyone in the community know that they're doing so. So if someone comes in and they're drunk and they're like, fuck these hippies, we can like run around quick and say like, hey, I'm gonna ask this guy to leave. Actually, he's not, you know, and that can happen. Apart from that, it's after 10 days of being here, you can request to stay for longer. So you can say like, oh, I actually want to stay another month. I want to stay till the end of the summer. And then 100% of the community that's here at that time has to agree that that person is then welcome to stay for longer. And usually it's fine, like as long as the person is, you know, contributing and, you know, is here for the right reasons, they are in line with like what we're really trying to do, which is promote sustainability, then that person is welcome to stay. It just depends on case by case basis.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your like YouTube, if you don't mind me asking.
Tree and I have been traveling to intentional communities for the past year and a half since we met. And we've always kind of wanted to document it and just hadn't done it, hadn't really made it happen until I got my van and I saw how big van life kind of stuff is on YouTube. So I was like, all right, this is an opportunity. So we started our YouTube with just like a van tour, and that really took off. You know, people really love seeing like van conversions and stuff. So then we're like, all right, let's show these people about intentional communities that we visit. You know, that's really our main mission here. So yeah, we started doing that. We got a lot of attention from TikTok with this place and a lot of people that were really interested in it. So we gained a lot of traction for our YouTube through that. And yeah, we hope to so we visited a community in Costa Rica a couple weeks ago.
And I found that video, but I didn't queue it up because I'm not about to sit here and waste y'all's time. But this young lady and Tree is Alive, they have a YouTube channel where they kind of go and you can go with them to all of these different intentional communities. They explore them. They, you know, give you tours of all of them. Give me just a few seconds and I'll drop their channel link in the chat. It's pretty interesting to me. I know like Nikki put mission as a red flag, and you know, you got to listen to those specific words that people say when they're trying to get you to join or convert to what they believe is the right way to live. And here we just skip to the end where the couple is going to kind of just give you their conclusion on their experience at the garden. They didn't really find too much wrong with it. But again, I don't know. It kind of ran across my mind a little bit to go see what's popping. Macon ain't that far from me.
Report back to us. Well, they didn't see anything wrong with it. It's cool, and that's what the vibes are giving. But this is just one out of many, and we're going to see. But I think there was a little. Did you want to play a little bit more out of this?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll cut them off then. These aren't the only places that exist. So, I mean, good for y'all if y'all want to go to the backwoods and learn how to skin a cat or a pet. You know, the garden's the place to go. And it seems like they have a little spot where, you know, you can if you have a problem, they have a council. It seems like they have some kind of order to them. It's just not a free for all, because some of these places that I have heard about, and we'll queue up here in a or maybe I should go to it right now. Let's look, because, and this I won't play too much of. This is off of the good old Tiki-Taki. Let me pull this up. There is some places that are not all rinky dink and gardeny with, you know, California raisins for scarecrows. You know, some of these places are lawless, and we're going to listen to one of them. This is called Slab City. This is a creator. I actually follow this lady because her van life, and she's like a little bit older, and she just kind of has like some little rinky dink things about her that I like little, you know, do it yourself, type of advice things that I like. But she
Mhm.
ends up doing a whole playlist of her experience at one of these garden type. It wasn't the garden, but it was garden type of, what do you call it? Intentional community.
Mhm.
This one is called Slab City, and it is on the outskirts of California in the desert. But let's listen to this lady tell it. Okay.
I've winters there, and I'll never go back. When I first went there, that place was a land of possibility. People were living in the desert, making all kinds of magic happen. They were making sand igloos. They were putting hostels together. They were digging 6-foot deep pits to live in all summer. I've watched people build houses out of scrap wood there. Like whole ass houses, even pallet wood houses. Like a whole house built of pallets, 2 stories, palm fronds tucked into it. Amazing stuff I've seen happen there. And this amazing stuff still happens to this day. But along with all that amazingness comes a whole lot of crime. I can't even tell you how many people I lost to Slab City. Movie Matt, who gave me my name. To this day, we still don't know the toxicology report, but we think he fell and possibly broke his neck after some kind of seizure from an overdose. There was Unicorn, who drowned in the canal after being overdosed by ACID. Unicorn's body wasn't found until it had passed under all the drops in the canal in Mexico. The only way they could identify him was dental records. That's how mangled his body was. There was Shiggity, who was one day found in his tent, passed away. Nobody knows. There was a girl, Breezy, that I've never heard from again. She disappeared one day and no one ever saw her again. The list goes on. Like, I can't even talk about it. Raped. I was exposed to things that no one should.
It's not an overdosed unicorn. Unicorn was the name of the person that overdosed. And this isn't Burning Man. This is a place called Slab City. Look it up. This lady has a whole playlist. So right here, she's just giving a general, but she gets into, like, I don't know, there's 15 videos of where she plays other people's experience, where she just gets a little more detailed about. But this, y'all, this is a real place. This isn't Burning Man, by the way. But I'm sure it's Burning Man-esque. From what I've seen, because I did dig deeper into other people and watch their stuff of it. It was a
like
mess.
the Rainbow family.
Yes.
They're a little mess.
Yes.
One should ever be exposed to. I witnessed things that I should never have witnessed. There were chomos there, and the thievery. The thievery is what got me. People would smile in your face and steal right in front of you, right under your nose. It seemed like they were doing it out of survival, but they were stealing things like scissors, clothing, designer shoes from bougie campers, wigs, and makeup. And while there is a really strong sense of community there, when I spoke out about what happened to me, nobody wanted to do anything. Instead, everyone came out of the woodwork and came to me and was like, oh, it happened to me too. And I'm like, let's do something. Everyone's afraid to do anything there because it's the land of no laws, no man's land, straight up. I'm not even joking. Like, a friend of mine got pew-pewed in the leg, and the pew-pew thing is still in there. The nearby hospital wouldn't even remove it. They hate slabbers that much. There's still amazing people that are functioning there, that are making it work, that have incredible sanctuaries. And I admire the out of them, but it's no place for me anymore. And if you decide to go, please have your wits about you. Please lock your vehicle. Please don't leave it anywhere out of earshot or eyesight, because they're quick out there. There's a lot of schmeth out there. There's a lot of schmeroin. There's a lot of schmentanil. There's also a lot of schmalcohol abuse. But again, just as much bad as out there, there's good too. So it's up to you if you want to go. But have a buddy system in place at least. Tell someone from the outside that you're going there, someone who you love and trust, and have an exit plan. Don't just go there with no plan to leave, because you will get sucked in. Seriously, if you call the cops out there, you're going to go to jail. They don't want to come out there. They don't want to be out there. They don't care who did the crime. You called them out there, you're going to be taken back with you and go to jail. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. You want to talk about trauma? That place left me with so much trauma, but it also taught me a lot of lessons. Boundaries, big boundaries. If you are a people pleaser, Slabs is not the place for you. I've been there. I've done that.
Dang.
Yeah. And so she's got a nice little playlist over there. And again, that was just her experience to this one place. And you hear her, she's like, go if you want to go. There's good and there's bad. But, heed warning to the drugs, the alcohol, the sexual abuse, the, keep your contents like that doesn't sound like a nomad lifestyle I want to live. Like, but I'm grateful for people like her who are putting it out there because, like you said, you can go online and pull up all these places, and maybe not all of them are, safe. So
Mhm.
if you want to travel this world, and I know some of us are like, oh, those are cults, those are weird people. Not really, though. If we get into what a cult is, which we are, because that's what we're here for, these little travelers and these people, to me, aren't living a cult lifestyle.
Mm-mm.
They are living lawless. They are living off grid. They are living a little, not
Mhm.
ways I would want to live, but I
Right.
wouldn't jump up and say an intentional community is a cult. To me, and we're gonna get into some of the cult stuff to see what the difference is. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, I couldn't see because there was again no one specific leader of the commune compound situation. It was
Mhm.
kind of just a free for all, lawless type of community. And if the people decided to come together and say, yes, we're going to vote on this, then you chose the right one. But what is surprising to me is that the police won't do anything about. That's what's surprising to me.
Well, like she was saying, they're way out there. So even going to like a hospital, she was saying they have issues with the doctors even being like
Mhm.
tending to them because they're like, oh, we know who you guys are. You guys are a bunch of stragglers and passer throughers. So, and I'm sure the police, because it says out there, once you dig deeper into this, it says that it's a lawless community. They have it posted out there, like every man for himself. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Like she
Hmm.
said, when she went to go report some stuff, people weren't believing her or just kind of was like, okay, what do you want us to do about it?
Right. And
So
that's
this,
kind of like that question Salt has asked before, like what would society be like if it was every man for himself? Like, how he's asked us what would women do if men just could do what they
uh,
wanted? Um, and it sounds like Slab City answers that question. What
mhm,
what will happen when people can do what they want?
mhm,
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
So, I mean, just be cautious. And when you're wanting to explore those type of lifestyles, do your freaking homework.
Please.
Okay? Do your homework because it's crazy out here. And we're gonna get to some more. And you know what I've noticed too, Godmama, just watching this, some of the cults are way more polished.
Mhm.
Right? These nomads, these intentional communities, they're like, hey, I just skinned a cat. It is what it is.
Mhm.
These cults are like, your appearance needs to be up to par. You got to have some coins coming in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It doesn't look like that from what the
Mm-mm.
ones I've researched.
Right, it's very structured and organized. This shit is you may find a few here and there that are structured and organized, but again, you're not going to see them a lot on social media. You're just not
Mhm,
because they're structured and organized and they're actually living in their community. They don't have time to
mhm.
be on a TikTok, on a YouTube. They don't have time for that. They got chickens, ducks, fields to tend to. You know what I'm saying? They got
Mhm.
clothes to make.
They're
They don't
building stuff,
have
right?
right.
Yeah.
They don't have time for this ignorant shit.
Uh-huh. And when they have service, it's not for this.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, you'll find some, but yeah, like Godmama said, not many.
Not really, baby.
Yeah, but let's get into. I wrote this down in my notes about because we're going to include gangs too.
Mhm.
So, and what it is, and even for these intentional communities, what they all have in common is they're looking for like-minded people.
Mhm.
They want to make a difference, but they don't want to like publicize that almost.
Right.
I guess the intentional communities do. They kind of publicize, like, oh, we're off the grid. Let's go post it to the grid that we're off the grid. And cults and gangs, not so much, right?
Mhm.
They're looking for like minded people so they can have one cause per se, but they have to have that leader. because you won't be able to get to the mission without the leader. That's what the cults and gang members have that these communities seem to not have.
Right.
Something too, that you have to, the members have to have a sense of need, that they're needed. We need you over here. We need your abilities. They're you're not living up to your potential where you're at. They don't appreciate your gift. Come over here. We love your potential. You're awesome. Why are you doing that for them when you can do that for me?
Right. I can
Come
take
over
you
here.
far.
Yeah. The leaders, people always say, how do you get brainwashed into this shit?
That's a good question.
A lot, because I think that way too. Like, how do you get brainwashed? How are you susceptible? Because some of these cult members are well-to-do, what society would consider well-to-do people. Oh, you have a family, you have a home, you have the dog, you have the picket fence, blah, 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 blah. How do you get? It's repetition. That's all it is. Repetition. And then examples. Repetition, examples, over, and every time you talk to them, that's all they're talking about.
Right.
And they're saying it with enthusiasm, and it's just over and over and over. And then when you get locked in, then some people use sleep deprivation, food deprivation, exercise, prayer, extremities, and then just repeat. And that's how people become brainwashed. Doesn't sound simple, but it is. I mean, just imagine every day, all day.
Right. And just imagine like some of the children of God cult, right? They were born into that. So that is all they knew. They had their own their own books that they were to study from. So that's all that they knew. That's that one really bothers me.
Over and over again. That is the main ingredient for brainwashing, is just being repetitive. That's it. It's very simple.
It's very simple.
It's very simple.
A lot of you motherfuckers is brainwashed and you don't even realize it.
A lot. We're seeing it right now with the elections coming up. It's like, what the fuck is going on in America?
I know.
Talk about cults, man. That Trump cult documentary gonna be something else, ain't it? Another thing, well, we all know this. They seclude. We all know that. Well, I don't know if we all, but they seclude, right? But that goes in with your gifts are needed here. Your talents are needed here. So they want to take you away from your job, your loved ones, your children, your spouse. They just repeat it over and over. They don't appreciate you. Look how great you are. You're wonderful over here. We call it love bombing, gaslighting, all of those things. But just with intention and repetitious. They create like these false realities and false narratives. They have this mission, right? We have to do it this way. That's the difference with the cult. The cult leader has a mission. If there's no mission, what are we doing here?
Right.
And the mission can change, because it does in these cults. And it's really weird, because they'll say, oh, doomsday is 1914. Okay, the Jehovah's Witness people, they were beating their chest. Then they changed it to 1915. Then they were like 1957. Like, but there's a mission.
But there's the mission.
We might have crunched some numbers wrong, but we need a mission. Shut up, Kelly. And gangs are like that too. Gangs are like that as well. We're going to get into some of those gangs because they have that same mentality of seclusion, gaslighting you, testing your loyalty, manipulating you. That's the street gangs. When you get into the prison gangs, it's really because security. So, and when we include that with these cults, some of these people really get so caught up that they think this is life or death. I have to be with this person on this freaking mission with my group members, or I'm not going to get into the kingdom. I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to, you know, it's just it's hardcore with these people. So let's watch a little bit. Before I get too deep into these cults, can we watch something? Because this blew my mind. I'm looking up the Mormon people, and I didn't know anything about their beliefs, because it's like the Church of Latter-day Saints and Jesus Christ or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that they believed that God is an extraterrestrial.
Yes. Yes.
And that they can become gods themselves if they make it to the temple.
Yes. It's very Yorkian, Nuwapian essence, right? Because the Nuwapians, that Dr. York taught that a lot of those people were reincarnated Egyptian deities like Isis, Set, Thoth, all of the people. Okay. And they were really, that's why you see them in their pictures, the Nuwapians with the headdresses on, because they feel like they're the reincarnate of that specific deity, because that's what they're taught. And it was very interesting that Mormons think the same way, except for theirs are like white and lizard people.
And they believe in polygamy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
She said white lizards. Okay, so I'm gonna play this card. Let me see. Why does it keep telling me I'm leaving fucking Facebook?
I mean, Mormons though, they're sick, bro, and I will say that out loud with my chest. They're fucking sick. Excuse my language, but you know, the parts and things that I've researched with them, and they believing that the parents teaching the children are supposed to teach the children how to have sex and these weird things, like that is just disgusting.
We're gonna get into that, and you know, we're on theme because it is a lot of white people over here, but there are. Thank you for bringing up the Yorkians, because they're not white.
Mm-mm.
And they've got some off the wall stuff going on with them when it comes to their girls.
Mm-hmm.
Highly concerning. The incest that these cult people do, the brainwashing, the sexual manipulation, the sleeping with each other's partners, not each other's partners, but the leaders sleeping with the wives.
Mm-hmm. The leader gets to sleep with whomever, basically, that God calls them to sleep with.
And that's what they do in that 7M one as well. Mm-hmm. He got him in there giving them fucking massages and stuff, and he blindfolds them and it's like, come massage me, go closer. Girl, these men here are something else. Anyways, okay, let's watch this. This is a Mormon cartoon that I just saw today, y'all. It's only 7 minutes, and I didn't know this is what Mormons believed. And I did go back. I got this from another person. Y'all it'll make sense later. But let's start off with what they even fucking believe. It's wild to me.
Regardless of its Christian veneer, the basic tenets of Mormonism.
You said what?
I told them to hit the like. Thank you.
Oh yeah, please hit the like, y'all.
Are in direct conflict with biblical Christianity. The following piece of animation, based directly on actual Mormon publications, highlights these major doctrinal differences.
Mormonism teaches that trillions of planets scattered throughout the cosmos are ruled by countless gods who once were human like us.
What?
They say that long ago on one of these planets, to an unidentified god and one of his goddess wives, a spirit child named Elohim was conceived. This spirit child was later born to human parents who gave him a physical body. Through obedience to Mormon teaching and death and resurrection, he proved himself worthy and was elevated to godhood as his father before him. Mormons believe that Elohim is their heavenly father and that he lives with his many goddess wives on a planet near a mysterious star called Kora.
Yeah, they say you get your
Here,
own
the
star,
god of Mormonism and
your
his
own planet.
wives, through endless celestial sex, produced billions of spirit children. To decide their destiny, the head of the Mormon gods called a great heavenly council meeting. Both of Elohim's eldest sons were there, Lucifer and his brother Jesus.
Not his brother.
A plan was presented to build planet Earth, where the spirit children would be sent to take on mortal bodies and learn good from evil. Lucifer stood and made his bid for becoming savior of this new world. Wanting the glory for himself, he planned to force everyone to become gods. Opposing the idea, the Mormon Jesus suggested giving man his freedom of choice, as on other planets. The vote that followed approved the proposal of the Mormon Jesus, who would become savior of the planet Earth. Enraged, Lucifer cunningly convinced 1/3 of the spirits destined for Earth to fight with him in revolt. Thus, Lucifer became the devil and his followers the demons. Sent to this world, they would forever be denied bodies of flesh and bone. Those who remained neutral in the battle were cursed to be born with black skin. This is the Mormon explanation for the Negro race. The spirits that fought most valiantly against Lucifer would be born into Mormon families on planet Earth. These would be the lighter-skinned people, or white and delightsome, as the Book of Mormon describes them. Early Mormon prophets taught that Elohim and one of his goddess wives came to Earth as Adam and Eve to start the human race. Thousands of years later, Elohim, in human form once again, journeyed to Earth from the starbase Kolob, this time to have sex with the Virgin Mary, in order to provide Jesus with a physical body.
Not the knocking on the door.
Girl.
After Jesus Christ grew to manhood, he took at least 3 wives, Mary, Martha, and Mary Magdalene. Through these wives, the Mormon Jesus, for whom Joseph Smith claimed direct descent, supposedly fathered a number of children before he was crucified. According to the Book of Mormon, after his resurrection, Jesus came to the Americas to preach to the Indians, who the Mormons believe are really Israelites. Thus, the Jesus of Mormonism established his church in the Americas as he had in Palestine.
I am intrigued.
By the year 421 AD, the dark-skinned Indian Israelites, known as Lamanites, had destroyed all of the white Nephites in a number of great battles. The Nephites' records were supposedly written on golden plates and buried by Moroni, the last living Nephite in the hill Cumorah. 1,400 years later, a young treasure seeker named Joseph Smith, who was known for his tall tales, claimed to have uncovered these same gold plates near his home in upstate New York. He is now honored by Mormons as a prophet because he claimed to have had visions from the spirit world in which he was commanded to organize the Mormon church, because all Christian creeds were an abomination. It was Joseph Smith who originated most of these peculiar doctrines, which millions today believe to be true.
Yeah.
By maintaining a rigid code of financial and moral requirements and through performing sacred temple rituals for themselves and the dead, the Latter-day Saints hope to prove their worthiness and thus become gods. The Mormons teach that everyone must stand at the final judgment before Joseph Smith, the Mormon Jesus, and Elohim. Those Mormons who were sealed in the eternal marriage ceremony expect to become polygamous gods in the celestial kingdom, rule over other planets, and spawn new families throughout eternity. The Mormons thank God for Joseph Smith, who claimed that he had done more for us than any other man, including Jesus Christ. The Mormons believe that he died as a martyr, shed his blood for us, so that we too may become gods.
What the hell did Joseph do? John Joseph. What
Although
the
there
hell
are thousands of Mormon churches throughout the world, there are only a few dozen Mormon temples. These massive structures play a vital role in the Mormons' quest for godhood. Mormons must engage in a series of occultic rituals inside the temple in order to become a candidate for godhood. Only an elite selection of devout Mormons are allowed to enter. To do so, the potential Mormon god must adhere to a strict code of ethics, including abstinence from tobacco or caffeine-based products, paying a full tithe to the Mormon Church, and wearing of the magic Mormon underwear 24 hours a day.
He has to receive a satisfactory interview from his bishop and from his stake president. There he's asked, or she is asked, certain rather penetrating questions about their worthiness, their morality. If he's a full tithe payer, that is the only way that we can be with our Heavenly Father. Otherwise, we could not be in his presence.
The motivation for the Mormon male to commit to such requirements is the promise of endless celestial sex, with thousands of goddess wives, along with a personal planet to rule and reign over. However, Mormon males who fail to meet all of the necessary requirements risk being castrated upon their entrance to heaven.
So you can see why the temple is so important to the Latter-day Saint. Because if
Y'all
he
wanna
is
fuck
worthy
a
to
lot
go
of
into the
bitches,
temple
just say that.
and there receive the sacred ordinances and covenants and keep them, he can eventually grow into becoming a god himself.
Tell me who God the Father is to you.
He is like you and I, every human being on the face of the earth.
Oh, is he a man?
Yes, he is.
How did he get to be God?
He
don't know, girl.
Yeah, he's perfect in every way.
So if we are perfect, can we become like God?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now he blanked
So,
out. He
this
said,
was all news to me. I didn't know what the Mormons, I didn't know what they believed. I had no clue. I thought they studied the Bible.
Mhm.
I've heard of the Book of Mormon, but I didn't know it was that serious, I guess. Now, mind you, this guy came out in 1850s, girl. And they're talking about he more important than Jesus and whoop-de-whoop. So this is what they believe. This is what they practice. It was giving Scientology to me. It was giving what the fuck. And there's Mormons are there's a lot of them. Millions of Mormons.
Yes.
They've gotten, I mean, I don't know. I was amazed when I heard that. I was like, what?
It was interesting that they said that the reason why there's black-skinned people is because they were neutral when it came to Jesus and the devil and their little war or whatever they were having.
Yeah.
Because a group of people decided to stand to the side and be like, well, I'm just going to watch you two motherfuckers fight. They were in turn, their skin turned black. But when it speaks of them again in the story, he calls them Israelites. And what we know as Native American is actually, that's why I was like, what? Because it's kind of like Nature Boy's goofy shit. There's truth mixed in with lies in there. And that's where the waters get murky and easy for you to get brainwashed, because some things that is said are true while other things are kind of just like way the fuck out there.
Yes.
Because what? That doesn't, I don't know. I've heard a lot of creation stories, honey, and because you stayed neutral, you were turned black. Girl,
This
boo.
was a first to me. I had never heard of the planetary situation, God knocking on the door. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me we go through all of this on the earth just so men can have sex with multiple women. What do I get as a woman Mormon when I die?
You get to be on a planet with you and your sister wives, girl.
Girl, you don't get me off this commune. Cause no, thank you.
That's what you get. A planet for you and your sister wives. So it's, to me, okay, so I started digging deeper. That I just had to start there because I didn't even know what Mormons were. So then how am I going to classify it if I don't even know what it is? But when you start studying all the religions, aren't they all similar to a cult? Especially the extreme ones, the orthodox ones, the just the extreme ones. Aren't they cultish?
Absolutely.
Religion in general, the because I did Mormons, Jehovah Witness, the Mennonites came up in the algorithm. So I watched a video on the Mennonites.
I have a lot of those that live around me, Mennonites and Amish communities, and they're culty, if you ask me. But but maybe they're just intentional communities. Maybe that's what Mennonites and Amish are, is just intentional
Well, the
communities.
Mennonites, they got a little stuff with them as well, as far as everybody needs to have 7 to 12 kids. Yeah. So, yeah, the Mennonites are like, the larger the family, the more kids you have, the more blessed you are, by the closer you are to God.
Okay.
So, I mean, hey, but they got their kids working, and one of the dads was out there in the Mennonite videos talking about, I didn't have too many sons, so I got to bring my daughter to blacksmith work with me. And she's out there in her Mennonite dress, and yeah, that's I don't know. Are they cults though? Because now I'm starting to wonder, like, what really is a cult? I mean, I know I listed off some things about they need to have a mission, but don't they all? So are they all cults? Is everybody a part of a cult? We're all just cult members of something.
We're all just cult members of something. And that's why
it's a cult. If you okay, that's where we'll draw the line. If you have to, it's harm. Okay. I saw you say that too. That's harm. Priscilla Land. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
If you have to elevate harm, Mennonite is a cult, not a community. Is it though?
Do they let
And
their
a lot
people
of them
freely?
abuse their children and their spouses. So there is abuse in a lot of these places.
But again, we've had this discussion before. That's their culture. So is it when do we, as a person who that's not my culture, say no, that's abuse?
Because the Asian are super strict with their kids.
I've watched videos, they smack the shit out them babies' feet. But that's their culture.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. And they have, their children are smart. Their extracurriculars are on point. Yes, they are abusive. They are abusive. So what are we doing here, people?
Right. I'm not excusing or saying anything is right. I'm just bringing it to, the table. Like, this is that's why I was glad that I fell into the intentional community.
Nikki, do you want to come up here? If you want to come up here, I'll drop the link.
That's why I was glad I fell into the intentional community land, because it opened my eyes up to the possibility that even though things may look kind of culty, they may not really be. Now, Nature Boy, he was a full-fledged cult. I'm not gonna back up and put on a handstand and back up on my word. No, he was a full-fledged cult. We witnessed that as a cult.
I'm not laughing. I'm not. That's not funny. It's not. I'm
right,
sorry,
but we watch these videos of these
that Negro's a cult leader. Okay.
Yeah. We watched intentional community videos. They had gardens, they had outhouses, they had this, they had that. He didn't have any of those things.
Right.
Any of those things. We've got crayons in the back here.
I heard also that 3 words kept coming up, and it also kept coming up in the Daybell case. Hey, Nikki. Money, power, sex. That's what a cult leader needs: money, power, and sex. Yeah, that kept popping up with all of these faulty religious leaders. And the Mormon guy, the Smith, whatever his name is, I think he's a cult leader. I think he was a cult leader. Just like the L. Ron Hubbard guy. I think he's a cult leader. Just because you're mixing religion with it, and just because you get tax write-offs for it, I think you were running a cult. And I think it just grew even after your death. That's just how I feel.
I don't think there were tax write-offs when Joseph Smith was alive, but I see your point.
No, it grew into that, I'm saying. Just because it grew into that. I think it started off as a backwood cult, and I don't think he expected it to be as big as it is today. But yeah, I think the cult started sprinkling in religion to get all of that. Because that's one thing gang members haven't done. Gang members are the same way to me. They just haven't.
He was getting in trouble for bigamy. And so he went to jail for it. But he told his followers and his disciples or whatever that he was going to jail. He was just being persecuted for being a righteous, blah, 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 the cult leader spiel. But he was teaching this to people in private, and he was practicing bigamy. He was married to multiple people at once. He supposedly raped this 14-year-old girl and got her pregnant, so she had to marry him. All this kind of shit. And so he went to jail for it. That's who Joseph Smith was. He was a piece of shit through and through. I don't even know if he ever rose to the level of full-blown cult leader. It was his followers after he went to jail and died or whatever that turned it into what it is. And so nothing is real in that entire thing. Nothing is real.
Right.
In all of Mormonism.
It's a false narrative.
Yeah, it was
and
some
that's one of the things
piece of shit con man.
Right. Well, that's one of the things these cult leaders sprinkle in is some false reality and false narratives. And then they test their members to see how loyal. Like some of this stuff that I was looking up, they were like, Manson. Manson popped. I did sprinkle in a little Manson in my stuff. How could I not? Okay. Shout out to Charles. Hey, Will.
He had to do with science.
But as far as testing the loyalty of the members, and he was even shocked by how far they would go because they would take it a step further. He was like, I just plant the seed, man. I just plant the seeds. And then, but it was that repetition. Would you, just that psychological brainwashing. Would you, or what if, or why haven't you? Oh, you don't love if that's that mission. What's our mission and how far are you willing to go for it? And some of these motherfuckers are willing to die, to kill their own children, all kinds of things. The Jonestown, you guys, these cult people, and it's scary how close these people are to us. It's not scary, but it's just, I'm shocked to hear how close some of these people are.
But in that vein, you can just be grateful that they, generally seclude themselves and take themselves out of society, right?
Yes.
They're not really that close to us. They put themselves behind walls in Guyana and, the middle of the desert in Utah or wherever the hell they are. Not near us.
Well, some of them are buildings we walk by and we don't even know we're walking by.
This was the map right here of all of the intentional communities in just the United States. And these dots have numbers on them themselves, like 12. If you click on this dot, 12 different communes will intentional communities will pop up.
Zoom time.
Look at that one. It says 107 up there by Oregon. Or what's that?
Yeah, there's a lot of hippies up there.
Yeah. All up and through there is nothing but.
What is the red versus the blue? What
I
is
could
that?
not figure that out. It would not tell me. what that meant because I was curious
All the
myself.
red dots say 2 or 3. I mean, all the blue dots say like 2 or 3, it looks like. And then, oh no, that
Single
one says
digit,
7.
double digit.
Yeah, like maybe as
Mm.
a lower concentration versus a higher concentration.
Possibly be. But I was just
Look
like,
at Utah.
wow.
Look at Utah and the desert out there. Southern California, Utah, New Mexico, even like Colorado and Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. It should be real out there.
That's all them FLDS,
Yep.
fundamental Latter-day Saints, the original Mormons. They stuck to how Joseph. Those crazy Warren Jeff people, they're doing it using air quotes correctly. They're doing Mormonism right. The mainstream church denounced all their shit that Joseph Smith was talking about so they could be within the bounds of the law and continue operating. The fundamentalists are like, nah, we're not softening this. We're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
With them prairie dresses and them 52 brothers and sisters, and yeah, they're doing it the right way.
Yikes.
Right way.
And when we talk about the Mormons, the Jehovah Witness people,
that's a cult too.
Yes, they're all included that with their abuse and their belief system was also blew me out the water. And what was weird is my grandfather passed away Jehovah Witness. I wasn't super close with my grandpa, but we weren't like estranged either. We never really talked about him or his religion. My grandma, the lady he married, my grandparents, she's Southern Baptist and she was very vocal about it. So I just assumed he was Southern Baptist for the longest until I got older. And they were like, no, grandpa's Jehovah Witness. That's why he's never here on holidays. He was a truck driver, so he was always gone. That's what I thought. I didn't know.
Right.
But when I started learning,
that goes to if you have to escape, it's a cult. And by escape, I don't necessarily mean like dive through the window on the second floor in the middle of the night and run as fast as you can. I mean, like if when you walk away, you're losing absolutely everything.
Yes.
If your family won't talk to you, if you're, you know what I mean? That is, if you have to escape and like burn your entire life down, basically, that's a cult. And Mormon, Jehovah Witness, Amish, Mennonite.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. And they all have some weird trade on Christianity. It's weird. I didn't know that because I didn't understand. Like I knew about them, but I didn't understand what they had done. It blew my mind today. I said, wow, what the freak? I had watched all the cult videos, but then I was like, well, let me just go to the beginning of how they even started their religion. Like, where did it come from? I was expecting hundreds of years ago. No, this shit was like within the past 2 centuries. I'm like, wait, what?
Every cult that follows or sprinkles in the Christian religion does it on purpose. It's because the Christian religion, it is only through me shall you get to him. Right? That's the formula. And so it's been perfected and people have accepted it. And so if you just superimpose that over another thing, it becomes very easily digestible.
Right. Because you can change the
only through me
the
can you get
characters,
to him.
right? You just change the characters from Jesus to whoever.
Right.
And that was and when, we had discussed the prison gangs, right? And I was like, oh, let me go find. Amanda Knox had done a nice little piece talking about how they use cult-like brainwashing in the prison system when it comes to like religion and things of that nature.
Yes. Yes. And in certain instances, when we get to these prison gangs, because the prison gangs are ran different than street gangs. I know they're all kind of ran together, but there's just a different code of ethics when you're in prison. And the gentleman said, the guard, he said, look, if you're not in a gang when you come to prison, you will be in one by the time you leave, period. You will have to submit one way or another. You will get starved out. You will get, that's when some gangs will even go above and beyond and cross ways with each other to get an enemy, you know what I mean? Somebody that didn't go. So, and it's generational as well. The prison gangs are generational. One of the videos I was watching, a girl was locked up with 10 of her family members. Just this is all they know. They were born into the gangs. They were born and their uncle was there raising them because their dad was locked up. They were raised by their grandma because their mom was locked up. The girl that was up there, she's only 27, lost custody of 5 of her children. Okay. And she's like, and I'm trying to do best for the youngest one. She's like, I want to be better for the youngest one. But she's sitting in jail with her auntie and her great auntie and her uncle, one of the guy that made the gang, it's some Utah gang. He's over there in the men's side, same prison, but men's side. So they have generational issues too, and they're ran like a cult as well. As this is our mission. There's one leader. We're gonna prove our loyalty by any means necessary. I'm willing to. When they get punished hardcore in there. And don't doing your own gang. The CO, the guy that works there, the guy, he was saying, when you do your own gang wrong, the punishment's worse than an enemy doing you wrong.
Right.
So, I mean, that had a lot of cult-ish shit to it as well. Just my way or the highway. When we go to prayer, you know what I'm saying? You guys all come show respect to me first. You have to pay to be, you know what I'm saying? You got to pay your dues one way or another to the gang. You can't just be, you're not the big boss. You gotta, you gotta go do everything. So
in a way, it's, well, in a lot of ways, it's even easier. Prison gangs or street gangs, easier to keep people in line because in a, the religious type of cult or the cult, where it's like, oh, you have to do good and suffer and follow the rules now so you can go to heaven when you die.
Yeah.
But these people are not worried about after they die. They're worried about not dying.
Right. This is in the moment right now. Not when I die, I get 6 planets and 15,000 hoes. No, this is how.
Am I gonna wake up dead tomorrow?
Right.
Yes.
I gotta get us out of here. And see, that's why,
I would call that more a terrorist organization than a cult. You're terrorizing people. You're not like promising them everlasting fucking gold pussies. You know what I mean? Like you're telling them, I'm going to shoot your face off if you don't do what I say. That's that's a little more
intense. So
yeah, a little more terrorist than culty.
Right. Yeah. And Lurker and I was talking because I was like, I can't. It's hard sometimes to feel empathy for grown adults that join cults. And so going through all of the, doing the research for this live, it was kind of like,
can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do it. But this is a lot of the climate. Like a lot of the climate is culty, intentional community type of vibe. People are tired of the grocery, the price of groceries. People are tired of the price of gas. People are tired of the price of their electricity. People are just tired of going to work, making a check to pay their bills. They're tired. So I think it is important to really understand what the difference is between a cult and a true intentional community. And I asked Chat GPT during my, studies, since we learned a good old Chat GPT can write us books and shit. But anyways, it says, while intentional communities seek to create supportive, sustainable, and inclusive living environments, Cults often prioritize the interest and control of their leaders at the expense of their members' well being and autonomy. Recognizing these differences can help individuals make informed decisions about their involvement in such groups and foster a more nuanced understanding of communal living arrangements. So if you try to go join an intentional community and that person is telling you that you need to do stuff at the expense of your own well-being, baby, you're in a cult. You're not in an intentional community.
Well, what ChatGPT came up with is generally correct. I would. That thing makes up fake court cases, man.
It really.
Like
Listen.
It's about as reliable as Wikipedia. Just as a note. Just as a note. But it is pretty. What it said is pretty accurate. And I think the reason for that is because the people who have said it on the internet. Like the guy who testified in Nature Boy's trial, Rick Allen Ross, that's basically exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's get back. Hold on. Let's get back to this part real quick where Godmomma was talking about our lack of empathy for some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched that cult on Netflix about the TikTok dancers.
Right, and I didn't watch that because I was waiting to see what it was.
I don't think it's worth the hype, but it was concerning because it was young Americans getting persuaded into following Christianity. This guy had already had a church and he was a little popular before TikTok or whatever. Again, put a spin on Christianity and somehow leeches off this, finds people that are semi-popular on TikTok and lets the other kids kind of recruit the new kids type vibes. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you should come with me to this meeting. Or hey, you know what I mean? Type stuff.
And when TikTok first started and those dance challenges became viral, I was kind of leery about what that could possibly turn into for the young adult teenage community. Because them motherfuckers would, because
I'm always leery when I see everybody doing the same thing. I'm always like, what's going on
They have to
here?
practice those dances. There's no way you practice that dance one night and the next night you're performing it on TikTok. No. You had to have practiced day in and day out.
And that's what they do. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a little TikTok influencer. That's just what they do. Everywhere they go, it's just something that they do. It's a weird little thing, but if you're making good coins off of it, more power to you. My thing is this church was using all of their money. Like he's making them pay tithes and then he's making them pay him. Then he's making them pay. So one of the kids that left, and it's a melting pot of kids. There's some black kids, some Asian, just little TikTokers, and they're dancing. And the guy said, he was like, by the time I was done paying all my tithes, I was paying like up to 70% of my income is going all to this guy.
Wow.
So, and he has them like run it, reminding me of Scientology, like how they're cool with Hollywood, but you make sure you bring all that money back to us. And these are younger kids. And the documentary follows this one family who is still in contact with their daughter. She went without contact for a while, but then got back into contact because they started blowing up her spot. And the church guy was like, okay, get a hold of your family because we don't need all this heat over here.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I recognize that situation.
Yes, it does. And the families are kind of coming together and they're like, well, how can we? So they start calling around to the attorney generals and just different government people to find out what they can do to get their kids back. And they were like, there's nothing. If you can't report a crime or the person's there report a crime, we can't just go check on your kids. Like, oh, you saw them post, so you know they're okay? Well, there's nothing we can do, ma'am. But I guess that preacher or pastor or whatever he is that's running this cult is sexually, being a predator on these little young women, and just taking all their money, making them give blindfolded massages, and while they get on TikTok and dance it out. I don't know. That's where I have a hard time feeling empathy, because your gut has to be telling you this is wrong.
Right.
The fact that you can log into TikTok and so you're a part of the real world. It's not like you're completely secluded. I mean,
TikTok's not the real world.
Well, no, but I'm saying like TikTok is there's a lot of different stuff. And when you're viral or you're popular on TikTok, you're going to get a mesh of things. But I did look at her account. She does have her comments limited. So maybe she's not running her account. And I've heard about that before too, not having control of your account. But it's like, I don't know. You have your parents right there reaching out to you. You're in contact with your parent. Like, it's hard for me to feel empathy for you.
I see that. Yeah.
So.
Because it's like, I don't know. Just
it has to be, something has to be at least a little bit relatable for you to feel empathy.
And I can't relate to that, I guess.
Relate to having an out and not taking it out of abuse.
Yes. Yes. And even if, like, you can't just take 70% of my money and I got to get blindfolded to give you some weird rub, and then you're going to preach to me on Sunday and you're my pastor.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
That part's not relatable to me either. Like, you got to be one or the other. I don't know.
So to me, it sounds like it's boiling down to this clout, fame, situation we have come up on, right? Because the whole Cassie and Diddy situation, it has brought about the conversation of if people should really feel sorry for Cassie, because she kind of knew what she was getting into when she got with that man. And the multiple times that she could have left but didn't leave, but did left but couldn't leave. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right, everybody has empathy for different things, because I have a shit ton of empathy for her. I told you earlier, what was it, today or yesterday, when we were talking, that I was kind of going back and forth with somebody in a live stream, and because they were like, well, I mean, he's famous, so obviously she wanted it anyway.
Right.
And I'm like, but that's not right, which is like, that's not really what we're talking about here, though. Like, whether she walked into it willingly doesn't necessarily mean that the next 10 years were the same.
Sorry.
Right. I understand that. And it's just, at what point, and we've had this discussion before, at what point do we start saying, okay, somebody cannot, not everyone can be a victim. Someone it has to be compliant in the situation, because and just using carbonation as an example, a lot of those people, I feel, that came and went were compliant in their situation. Not all, but some were very compliant. And that's, I sometimes feel heartless to say something like that, but
right. But then, like, how do we decide who draws that short straw?
Right.
Is it after we hear 6 stories, then we don't believe the 7th one because we're sick of it? Or is it the facts and the circumstances, or what? How do we decide? No. You know what I mean? Like, one of these people has to be lying. Which one is? Or one of these people has to be complicit. Which of them is it? Like, how the fuck do we decide that, though?
I don't think it's up. I think it's case by case. I don't think it's something that you just like, line them up and then you go and pick. I think it's definitely case by case. And I think we need to, I want to say this politically correct, and I probably won't. And that's just me. I apologize ahead of time. There's some dumb people out there.
Facts.
And I can't empathize with stupidity.
Right, with like the blatantly obvious stupid.
I can't. So that's where I draw the line. It's just when you're a dumbass. So, and that includes playing a dumbass. That includes pretending to turn a blind eye. That includes all of that. I can't go with it, and I won't. And then that's up for my discernment to decide, and try not to judge anybody. Truth be told,
Right.
but as far as empathizing, I can't do it with just everybody, and I won't. So, I apologize.
The little TikTok dancers, as just the things that I've heard, and I haven't watched the documentary, but just the clips I've seen and posts I've read and articles and shit, to me, it's like these children just wanted clout. And they thought this person was going to control, like manage their clout, so to speak.
That's what happened. He became their manager.
Yeah, and it ended up not being how they thought that it was supposed to be. And I say this all the time: are we going to press charges, or are we just going to get on here and ask for more sympathy? Because that was an issue that we had with carbonation, right? If we're going to keep it up all the way straight across the board, are we going to press charges, or are we just or what's popping? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Can you press charges? Is there something, legally that can happen?
And that's all it comes down to for me in some of these certain situations, because some of these people don't have the lifeline to, like we were saying earlier, some are born into the cult, so they truly do not know any different. And that's not the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about these people who have a life link out into the real world, don't use it, but will sit sidelined for some bullshit for I don't know how long, and then we'll come out and be like, yeah, what I did was wrong, and I was just in I have a hard time empathizing with some of those people.
I feel that.
Yeah. So, and it's no disrespect, that's just where I'm at. As I dive deeper into some of these cults and how they work, maybe my feelings will change. With new knowledge comes, new feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of the things I have over here though, it says top 3 signs that you're in a cult, just in case you don't know. And that goes for this religious people as well. It says they suppress your individuality, including questions and doubts. They dictate, minor or major life choices and demand strict obedience. They teach absolute loyalty to a leader and forbid questioning or criticizing the leader. So if you can't question your pastor on Sunday, you might be in a cult. If you have to give a person complete obedience, you might be in a cult, baby. Okay? Don't you go question. Don't you have no doubts. Don't do that. Who told you to doubt me? Y'all don't need to save your money for an education for yourself. Give that money to me. Let me educate you. Girl, don't question me. Girl, do not question me. I got you, boo. I got you. Now you just go get your pretty self over there in that kitchen and go be obedient. That's what I need you to do.
That's what I need you to do. Don't worry about nothing else.
Girl trip.
Girl both. Your friends ain't nothing but a bunch of hoes anyway.
I'm just.
Your friends ain't nothing but a bunch of cult members anyway.
Okay. Cult leaders. So that's what we got going on. I don't think I have the know-it-all. I'm not a cult expert to dictate if these intentional communities, these cat hat wearing, dog skirt making gardeners are cult members or in a cult.
Right.
But yet we've got people over here who think, they're waiting on their planet and they're thousands of women.
They're teaching their children how to have intercourse themselves. Parents are in these real life cults, not some hippies that want to garden and do weird things. They just want to be free. Like, I know they remember the hippies back in the 50s and 60s. They wanted to just be frolicky, stanky, fucking free. That's all they wanted. They wanted to be able to run around the field booty hole naked and not take baths for whenever they didn't feel like taking a bath. And
That wasn't a cult, though. That was a middle finger to authority.
That's what most of the intentional communities are, is a bunch of people who middle finger is to authority. That's what it is. They have no and I guess, and the link that I dropped to what was it, Tree and Julia maybe, they showed the Costa Rica compound. They went to the Costa Rica, showed the compound, and that compound actually has a huge 2-story house that has Wi-Fi, gaming systems, all like it's not your podunk, as we said at the beginning of the live, as it is over here in the Americas. It's a little bit more upscale and classier, like
It's
a resort.
little glampy.
Yes, a little glamping. So if I'm going to an intentional community, I might go to Costa Rica. I don't
If
know
you're
that
going to
Macon,
Costa Rica, I might come with you. I love Costa Rica. It's one of my favorite countries.
Nature Boy tried to stay over there, and they said,
No, they don't want him. They know better. That's another reason I like it.
Costa Rica put the smack down. Said, "Not over here, senor."
Yeah, and I can respect that. That's relatable to me.
They said, we don't care if you think that you're a second removed chief, son of a chief. Take your ass back to over there.
I'm down with any place that kicks his ass out.
And before we hop off cults and all that, and I know this was a lot of white people. Y'all, there is Yorkians, there is holistic villages, okay? There are carbon nations, okay? Don't think it can't happen to you or your melanated loved one. Okay.
There are Yakins.
There are Yakins. There are brother polites. There are young pharaohs. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that in there to be messy. So don't think that this can't happen. Oh, it can't happen. Well, we don't watch people like that. You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised what your kid is in their bedroom right now watching. And
Godmomma would know.
Right? Before we move on, that was a commercial that I saw not too long ago. They used to air in the 90s at 10 p.m. every night. It's 10 p.m.
Do you know where your child is?
Uh-huh. I wish they still did that shit, because motherfucker need to know.
And then they put on all this scary
know what
catch
your
a
child
predator
is watching.
to catch a predator.
Right.
This is the latest choke me out thing. This is the you know what I mean? They turn you into the latest trends of what's going on with these kids. You know, it's fine. We got you.
Right. We may have to start doing it's at 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Okay.
Do you know what your child is watching?
Okay, because we know where these predators are. Okay.
Right.
We know where these predators are. Do you know where your child is at? Okay. What's that search history? Saul likes to tell us all about that, don't he? The app history. Go if you want to go catch something, you got to go here.
You
Tell us
gotta
more,
check the
Senator.
app
Tell us more.
history.
The search history will fuck you up every single time.
Okay. I mean, it will if you want some fuck shit. It
My
will if you
Google
want some
search
fuck shit.
history would nope.
Okay, Nikki. Okay. You guys want to watch it? I know you guys said that, gangs aren't really cults, but it was the generational thing. Look, I took some notes. Let me see if there's anything important I need to.
To me, they can give very culty. I get where the
can.
correlation.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really can. Yeah, they join for protection. They end up in debt, have to pay off with loyalty. They're more proficient with their violence, like you guys were saying, terroristic. Okay. They excommunicate members just like cults do. They do. You can get excommunicated and your family can be extorted on the outside while you're inside. Okay. It got to a point where the gang leader got up and he said, I don't even know half of the new kids that are coming in. They're talking about, what's up, OG, or, just whatever. And he's like, they're younger and younger. He's like, I don't even know half of my own gang. That's how much it's taken over. Yeah.
But that's all these young kids hear in their music. It's just gang, 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 gang.
Repeat. Brainwash. All day, every day.
It really, once we sit and just talk about it, it really breaks my heart that as the parent, we're so brainwashed too that we can't pick up that we are brainwashed and our child is being brainwashed in this moment to be a gang member, to eventually be a cult member,
generational cycles, yes, all of that.
It's just sad.
Grooming is not just for
predator,
sex purposes.
Right. No, you can groom a child's impressionable to everything. Okay.
Right. And I actually wrote a note about something you said earlier, Lurker. You said you can either be one or the other. You can the massages or my pastor on Sundays. We can't do both. And that made me think like that's literally what grooming is, right? It's blurring the lines between the acceptable and the unacceptable until the unacceptable becomes acceptable.
Good. Yes, Nikki. Correct. And when a thing with these gangs and these cults is mental health is high, then management is low. In both of them. So just be cautious of your mental health. Okay. And seek therapy, seek outside sources, communicate with people. Okay. I mean all sorts of people, not just, your echo chamber. Okay. Some of these members are willing to sabotage their time in prison, which I got to see in that documentary. And that's it for my notes for tonight. But I got to see that where this girl, she had 2 weeks left, but some Aryan brother had done some shit and she had to fly a kite and she had to whoop and go check somebody. So she's willing to sabotage. This is the girl that has 10 family members in there. She's willing to sabotage her early release, even though all 5 of her kids are in the system. She said she was going to do better for the 5th.
Right.
She's willing to sabotage it for the gang because that's on code. That's loyalty.
Is her gang her family, or is it members of the gang that are also like
all of the 10? Okay, the gang, the prison.
Like her whole family is in the gang, or the gang is her family.
Well, both eventually, but her uncle's the one that started the gang, and he's in prison with her.
But there are members of the gang that are not family members.
Correct. Her 10 biological family members.
But also other people.
Yes, but 10 are
Okay,
family,
okay, okay.
blood family. Yes. And then of course there's like 50 other gang members. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
understand.
hmm Some are men, some are women. So it's
Mm-hmm.
generational as fuck for her. Hold
That's
on.
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but same with Jehovah Witness and these Mormons. Aren't they born into it?
Mm-hmm. I've seen in different, just watching prison or prison life videos where they'll be like, I got a week left and I get to go home, and then like 2 days later they're in the hole, and they've added 30 days to their time, and it's like, why are you even? But
And they say institutionalized as well.
yes.
Okay, that comfort of being at jail, that comfort of 3 cots and a hot, that comfort of following rank and going to war against the COs and these other things. Some of these men and women, lifetime criminals, in and out. Like it's, oh, I got to do 4 years. Oh, I just did a 15-year bid. I'm back for 18 months. What?
Mm-hmm.
It's something I can't relate to.
Mm-mm.
Imagine how jarring it would be for you to go into prison, right? Just imagine how jarring that would be to every single part of your system, right? And now imagine the opposite. That's the exact same
Come
thing,
out.
but go in the other direction for them to come into the real world, and probably even harder because it's so much bigger.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I was like, what? I was like, girl, I feel good. That second thought. But that anxiety of having to come out and having to face bills and having to face this and having to face your kids and having to face. I mean, but I'd rather face that than fucking slashing and dicing and all the.
It's just the change. It's the
It is.
change in general. You know what I mean? Like,
It's that psyche. It's that
look,
psyche.
I spent the last 2-3 years basically living in one room, renting a room or living on the road or whatever.
Mhm.
I moved into a house. I've got a kitchen, a mudroom, a living room, 2 bedrooms, a hallway. You know how long it took me to sleep in the bedroom? I was sleeping in the living room because I was so used to having everything I own be in one room that I was so uncomfortable getting up and going into another room to sleep. It took me like 3 months, 2-3 months to sleep in the bedroom. It's just change in general. And that going into prison or coming out of prison, it is such a massive and abrupt change that, yeah, it is going to fuck a lot of people up going in or coming out.
No.
And a lot of people get out like you said, Lurker, and be like, man, fuck this shit. I'm going back in here. Where's 3 hots and a cot and order and structure, and I know what's gonna happen every single day, day in, day out. As opposed to having to find shelter, having to find food, having to find clothing, having to find transportation, having
Didn't
to
we
find
say this?
big unknown.
We said this about the people that wouldn't leave Bishop because they didn't want to come out and get a job. They didn't want to come out and face their, responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's how some of these cult people are. I'll just stay in, especially if you've been there your whole life. And you're excommunicated from everything you know. You're not going to be quick to leave.
The devil you know, right?
The devil
Right.
you know. Oh my. Wow. Huh. Well, this went a way I didn't expect it to, y'all. I really didn't. I thought I was gonna get up here and wham bam some cult shit out, but I really needed understanding of where some of these began, and are we quick to judge some of these things we don't see every day?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a skinned cat as a hat every day.
Yeah, it has some shock value. I didn't find it morally objectionable or particularly shocking, really. Just kind of, that's unusual. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like she has a cat on her head.
But I'm a country ass bitch, so
Right. Exactly. So I know what time it was. I'm like, look,
I would.
this is
I
not a cult. This lady's just super friendly with the internet. It's fine. It's
That's
fine.
fine.
It's
It's fine.
It's fine.
And if
That's
you
what,
It's
want
all
to,
that's
fine.
what they do over there. It's fine.
and if you want to join an intentional community, don't let the cult stereotype
Now,
deter
if
you
she's
from
making
doing
people
it.
kill their own cats and give them to her as a hat, then we might have a cult situation.
Then we have a culty
right.
situation.
Right.
But she said she wasn't even the one that killed or skinned the cat. It
She
was
just
just
made use of what was available.
right. She just
Right.
made use of what was there. So please don't let do your research. Check out what is it? Federation of International Community.org
Mm-hmm.
and just, search because I know this is where a lot of people are going to end up going to is either starting their own intentional communities because more and more are popping up every day or joining a already existing intentional community.
Mm-hmm. Do some research on it. Get to know the people. Same thing. Same vibe as having a home. If you want to travel, and I know that's where some people go. Nikki says she, knows what it's like to move around. I'm a military brat. I know what it's like to move around. So just get to know your people, communicate with people, learn something new. Okay. Learn something new. Because I promise you, drive by one of these church buildings 9 times. Well, I won't say 9 times out of 10, but there's a high chance that's being ran by a cult leader too. So don't be too shy out here. Okay. Do not be too shy out here.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And
And
if you
don't be
see some
so
gang
quick to judge.
members, yes, and if you see some gang members, understand that maybe their mom was an OG. Okay. Maybe that's something they were born into as well.
Just drop a seed, right? Drop a seed and let it grow. Give it time to grow on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Because gangs is something that I really I can't relate to because I don't have it in close proximity. But
Should I drop it? Let me drop this to Salt and see if he can close us out with some gang stuff. Because I love gangs. I do. Bitch, I'm dotted up. Okay, what's up? I do. I love me a little thugger. Okay, don't be a thug.
But see, this is what I'm saying. Like the people in my local area, whenever I was younger, they would always, say GD, BD, those types
Yes,
of things, right? And I was always the person that was like, let me round y'all up and take y'all to Chicago and drop you off and see if you're hollering GDBD then. Because it's a totally different gang lifestyle, right? In different areas of the world. You can be in a small podunk city hollering gang signs, but when you take that shit to a real city, shit might get crazy. You know what I mean?
Watching the movie and playing in the movie are not the same thing.
Not the same thing. Not the same thing. And I'm talking thug. Okay. I'm not talking no
Right.
city boy thug.
Play
I'm
thug.
talking like this nigga will pistol whip a bitch. Type of thug. Okay.
It's
Like
the ones
bitch.
that aren't thugs that are yelling and flashing and hollering and making gang signs and stuff. Them
I
real
mean,
thugs, you won't know what gang they're in, where
creased
they're
up,
from,
flagged
what
out.
they've got, or what they've done. You will never know. That's how you know a real OG. They move in silence.
You could tell though. You could well, maybe not everybody could tell, but you know what I'm saying? They creased up real nice. Okay.
Yeah, but they, you know what I mean? They're not. It's
They're
like
not walking
baby.
around
It's like
hollering GD,
yeah,
BD.
yeah. They ain't doing none of
What?
that.
Very silent on
Yeah.
hush mode.
Because we had some, yes, but they were from bigger cities, but just moved and migrated, down or whatever. And you could tell that's why I was always like, yeah, y'all listen, let me take y'all up there and drop you off and see which one of y'all, how many of y'all come back.
Yeah,
'Cause
those are
I
not
guarantee you that's
gangsters. Those are
coming
just
back.
But
kids playing
it's
pretend.
not recommended. I will say that it's not recommended to go take your goofy ass in some real nigga shit. Who we seen? Didn't we see all kinds of people get beat up over there in New York with what's his name? Hassan Campbell got beat up and then or he got shot on camera and I don't even know if that was like gang territory. That was just the hood, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
that was
You
gang
can't be
territory. Cause he was out there talking about fuck whatever gang they was repping.
Listen, he got shot on live, y'all. Okay. And then some other news reporter went up there and got hit up in the grocery store in the little bodega, right? Behind the bar. Wasn't it behind the bar? Went up there trying to get saucy too, talking about he's Hassan Campbell. Oh my God, listen. Y'all can't be going over there pretending nothing. Okay.
Be about it or leave it alone, baby.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay. These Chicago drill gangs ain't playing with nobody. I will say this much though, it is nice to see that Chief Keef has lived this long. I will say that. You see, he got up and moved and, you know what I'm saying, moved around. I do like to say that. Shout out to Lil Durk. That's another Chicago drill town nigga. Those little niggas are killers out there. Okay. They are killers out there. And that's all they know. They talking about my mama, my uncle, my auntie, my this, my cousin. That's all they know. Okay. Fuck a playing with somebody.
You know, I wonder if they'll be the next
But
ones
isn't
on
that again
trial.
that's cult mentality? Go ahead.
I wonder if they'll be the next ones on trial, like Young Thugger, whose trial has been going on for literally almost a
Holy
year now.
shit, 9,822 million days.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you know the
And
difference.
more people have gotten arrested since that trial started than they have charged in the first damn place.
Well, I did notice this with gangs, y'all. The difference between them. Sorry, them and a cult. My bad. Them
Knock all this shit over.
and a cult. Is they're getting hit with racketeering and stuff because they're not including religion. If they would say I was a church or if I was a nonprofit or if I was, they're not working it the way these cults are working it. Because we don't hear about these cults getting handed up because it's not illegal to have a cult, right? It's not illegal to get all this money off your fucking people if it's going to you know what I mean? 501c3. It's going to a non-charitable. It's going to one of these things. So some of these cults have found a way to master that. Trust and believe that. That's another thing. Gangs and cults take heed. Because I think P. Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment, I think he's found a way. I heard Kim Kardashian, she's investing in churches with her mother. Yeah. So that's what's getting these racketeering charges, all that, this big stuff is they're doing the same thing the cults are doing. These religious powerhouses are doing. You got to come pay me. You got to come, everybody put your money in the bag, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, I don't want to talk too much shit, but let me just go ahead since I'm on it real quick. I have noticed that some of these gangs do more for the community than these churches. Let me keep it a buck. I don't know. So think about that. When we're funding all of these, you're paying all your tithes, you're giving all this to this tax-free institution, okay? But you're judging these niggas that are hosting Saturday night at the park. Saturday night at the park, these, low riders, car events. Support that as well. I'm not saying support your local drug dealer. Don't support your local drug dealer. But maybe if it's legal in your state to buy weed, you can support your local drug dealer. Okay.
Listen,
Historically, that's true.
The dope boys are notorious for back to school jams. Stop fucking playing with it. It's notorious back to school jams, end of school jams, spring break jams. Like they're notorious.
Backpack drives, all of that. Girl, stop.
Christmas, all of that. They make sure that
Toys
their
for Tots
community
motorcycle cruises.
Right.
Oh,
They
thank
may
you.
be poisoning the shit out of their community with the drugs and all of that, but they still tend to give back more than most churches.
That's crazy.
It is.
Because some of these churches are out here molesting the kids and out here, you know what I'm saying? They might not be infiltrating the community on the level that some of these dealers are, but they are in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're not opening your door to these sick,
None
and
of that.
homeless, and these. You know what I'm saying? You're not to the weak and the drug ridden, and you're closing your door. You're shunning these people. And I understand the church isn't a place to go, do certain things. But at the same time, you should be outside with your shit.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? You should be outside with your shit for sure. If drug dealers are outside, gang members are outside, why you ain't outside?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why aren't you doing? Excuse me. Oh my god.
You better stop that.
Once I've started, it's hard to stop. Why aren't a lot of churches
Damn it.
doing back to school drives and these types of things? The only reason why I think you can say that churches are not actual cults in a sense is because the pastor doesn't ask you to follow him. Unless you're in a church that the pastor is saying that to get to God or to get to Jesus, you got to go through him first and all that, then yeah, that's kind of culty. But I think for the most part, like churches, the actual church and the people and the idea isn't real culty. Because most of the preachers are just there to, if they're not there with good intention, they're there to swindle and just to get the money and run. You know what I mean? Like just a swindling type of thing. But I don't know. I don't know. Would Joel Osteen be considered running a cult?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
would consider him more of a scammer than a cult leader because the people who follow him wouldn't. I don't know. Does he have rabid followers? Because I ain't seen none.
He has Osteen groupies. Yes. They go to
God.
every book signing. They go to, because Osteen, that's how he claims he makes his money. He says he doesn't make it off the church. It's from his books and his wife's books, and it's all his book signings.
Yeah, but it's a
Do not get me started
groupie.
on Osteen. That motherfucker is a cult leader. You know how he did the people down here in Hurricane. It wasn't
But that just means he's a piece of shit.
Please, that man is a cult leader. He is a fucking cult leader.
I'm
Yes.
not saying that you're wrong. I'm
And
just
the Osteen people that follow him don't you dare talk about Joel. Like, it's about, go to Facebook and just go to some of these Joel Osteen groups, and it's crazy. It's crazy. They love them some Facebook drama. Oh my goodness.
You know, a lot of Christians can be messy, child.
They are.
Be so messy.
They are. They
Creflo
really
Dollar, would he be a cult? TD Jakes cult. Now TD Jakes is a cult, baby. I'm sorry. Y'all can throw rocks at me right now, but TD Jakes might not even be an intentional cult leader, but that man is a cult leader. Woman, thou art loose. Sent him as a cult leader. Please stop.
remind me who that is again.
TD Jakes?
He's the big bald-headed preacher. Big bald head, always
What church?
up a storm.
Here, I'm about to put him on the screen.
What is his church? I don't even know the name.
Non-denominational. It's got to be non-denominational, girl. I know. Please, here, look. Here's some TD.
What is the name?
I know the name. I just need to be reminded.
Here, it's on the screen, Mama. Here you go.
Right,
Here you go, Mama.
Oh, I drank all my drink already.
Can you see him? Am I sharing the screen? Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, you are. It's just embiggen.
Okay, let me go this way.
Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, I know that. Okay.
He doesn't even look real in that
Look
photo.
at this clown. It's a clown.
He is a man. Like I say, he may not be an intentional cult leader, baby, but he has a following, and they are vicious. They are vicious.
Beyonce has a cult. Y'all seen that
Mhm.
show that was made after Beyonce? What was it called? Something the Buzzkill or Bee Trap
Yeah,
or
Beehive
The
or
Bayhive.
yeah, that
The
mo- that
Bayhive.
that shit was crazy. I'm not even
that
gonna
show
lie.
is funny as fuck. And
Okay,
it just
but now we're talking about something different. Having a cult following as a figurehead does
yeah.
not make the person behind the figurehead a cult leader.
Leader, right?
Because Beyonce is not a cult leader. She ain't got nothing to do with that. She just has a cult following. Just like Rocky Horror Picture Show has a cult following. Just like Coca-Cola has a cult following.
Well, just like Charles Manson has a cult and a cult following.
No, okay. Sure, girl, sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I do believe that if you have the authority to have a cult following, you have a responsibility to handle your influence. I that's
Yeah,
just me though. That's just me.
I could see. Yeah, I could agree with that. It is if you know that you have this massive following of people that like eat on every word you say,
Yes.
you gotta kind of take a little bit of responsibility in at least addressing your people. Like, hey, chill out, or hey, this isn't this. But some people you can't control. You get obsessive
Do you though?
mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't blame any of the celebrities for their cult like following. No, I can't because these people are fucking idiots. But to some degree, I do. There is some responsibility there on your platform or whatever.
Right, because it's our responsibility as a podcast platform to reiterate the facts of letting people know this is not for intent of bullying, harm,
Mhm.
That's a
any
responsibility that you take upon yourself based on your personal ethics. If the celebrity does not carry those same ethics and they don't take on that responsibility, then it ain't their fucking responsibility.
No, it's not a must duty for sure.
Yeah.
Mia, we're not.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Mia said, "Grandma, what you got going on?"
Okay, listen, we've been up here 2 hours and 26 minutes though. Oh,
I have to get up at
I
like 4:30.
yes, I think we've touched quite a bit of corners areas.
Mhm.
There's always more to go,
Mhm.
but I think we've touched quite a bit of it and included a diverse group,
Mhm.
diverse groups
Yeah, this is a
from
good talk. We touched on a lot of things.
from the hippies to the prison gangbangers, or not gangbangers, gang members. Sorry, whatever.
Look, and I would bet all of my money that the prison gang members smell better.
I would too.
Y'all didn't see
I'm
the
not saying they
documentary.
smell good, but
Y'all
they
didn't see the
definitely smell better
documentary.
than the hippie with a cat on her head.
I don't know. I might want to deal with some compost over some prison shit smeared walls. So
Ew.
I might take compost over that.
Yeah, we'd have to talk about the bathroom situation, but I
Okay.
might can join an intentional community. Who
I
knows?
mean, yeah, if I got my own little, section, you know what I'm saying? If I could do me over here, I don't know. Maybe.
Communal living. That may be a next topic. Are you willing to do communal living?
You know what? That's the great thing about living in those types of situations is that if you don't want to share a toilet, build your own.
Build your own toilet.
Yeah, just build your own
Shit,
shit. Yeah, that's the whole point.
shit in your own bucket. Drug
Yes.
it.
Yes. I'm
It's like
private about
build,
my stuff. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
like
And you're
building a
supposed to
sewage
like,
system. Can we not? I mean, that's what my question. I'm sorry. I know we're trying to
well,
wrap
because
it
you're
up.
supposed to do it away from people because it causes diseases and stuff.
Are we not innovative and smart enough to build a sewage system?
We can.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Well, they had all those water reservoirs and little, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely
Like build a
possible.
lagoon, and you know what I'm
Well, and
saying?
yeah, you get a water source. Of course, you have to trickle it downstream and blah 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 blah. But when there's, I guess, I don't know. When you're composting, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they just don't give a shit. Like we don't. Like,
Yeah, and when you're composting it to a certain degree, there's ways about it, but I just know mounds of shit. It causes diseases, so just keep that in mind. Okay. People used to compost with their own shit, and they got sick and died. Yeah.
Public service announcement. Poo is yucky.
Let me get the fuck out of here. Let's All right, this is where we are, y'all. 2 hours, 30 minutes.
on a Friday night.
On a Friday night. On a Friday night.
All right, good night, y'all. I'm gonna get down. I have to go to bed. Love you. Good night. Aloha.
Peace, Nikki. Thank you for coming through. And we are out as here as well. What is your final words, Godmomma?
My final, I don't know. I think I've kind of already said all of my final words when it comes to cults and intentional communities. And I really do think that gangs are a branch off of cults. I really do want to reiterate the fact to make sure you are paying attention to what your children are watching. I know it's kind of, we're in an age where as parents we kind of want to be a friend more than that control authoritative figure, but sometimes these kids need that authoritative control type of figure in their life, or you're going to lose them to gangs, to prisons, to and cults, intentional communities. You know, just keep an eye. Please keep an eye on them children.
Dancing TikTok. You would never think. You're watching this little blonde-headed girl bop and pop, and that quickly she's introducing your dancing teenager to a man that wants to blindfold her and give him massages and take all her money.
Yeah.
That quick.
And then for the parents to be told that, well, since your child is of legal age, there's really nothing we can do. Which is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Again, and we're going to go into a different subject, but should we, since you can't drink alcohol, you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't buy legal marijuana until the age of 21, should our children now be still looked at minors until the age of 21?
Come on now. If they're limited in all these other legal areas, they'll take their vote. You can sign up for the military, right? And you can consent to all this fuckery. But for the real responsible stuff, no. Can't carry, can't smoke, can't drink, can't. So I don't know, Godmomma. We'll see. We'll see what this next generation has in store for us, because they're coming.
They're coming.
They are coming. So,
and they're loud and proud.
Rightfully so. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you. We need it. Alrighty, y'all. We're out of here. We're going to finish off with a cult leader. Ooh-wee. Shining bright, bitch. Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through. We'll see y'all. I don't know when we see y'all. Shit.
It's summer, baby.
Living, getting in tune with Mother Nature. Download these life codes that I've been given. Put into action, they could save us. Always giving all that we got. From my heart, I love myself. You're my reflection, I thought I'd tell ya. Separation's an illusion. I am you and you are me. Let's stop fighting one another. If we embrace what makes all us different, love is understanding each other. Ocean breeze and palm trees, you know I got it. I live my life the right way. I'm in the tropics, in tune with the divine knowledge.